Hey, good morning, guys. Jerry here with our New York Open analysis for September the 24th, 2019. I don't really see any trades that I'm interested in this morning for today, but let's go through what we've got today, and I'll touch on some things. So overnight, the main thing we had was Governor Lowe speaking from the RBA. And we'll look at his comments here in a minute. But it's put a little bit of bullish sentiment in the Aussie. Not really something I'm interested in trading when we look at the charts, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And we have the dollar. We've got consumer confidence numbers out at 9 my time, which is 2.5, 3 hours. And then the big event really for today that I'll be watching tonight is the New Zealand cash rate announcement in their statement. And that one I'll be looking to, it's not something we talk about in the room, but I'm going to be looking to do some analysis on that to see if I might take a trade for a few quick pips coming with that announcement, if it causes a change in what the market was feeling about the New Zealand dollar versus what the RBNZ actually came out and stated. So with their actions. So I'll be watching that tonight. So looking at the news, we'll come down to, let's see here. Here's the morning color, which nothing in there. Let's see here. Find. To expand on the news I was reading from another site. Basically, there were two things that happened. One, we had the comments from Governor Lowe from the RBA, and the headline here says fundamental factors underpinning the longer-term outlook for Australian economy remain strong. The economy has reached a gentle turning point, which is kind of an interesting term. Then it says the board is prepared to ease policy further if needed to support growth. Inflation is expected to pick up, but remain below the midpoint. And then some additional comments. So that's given a little bit of a boost to the Aussie, but I'm not really interested in trading that. We'll jump over to a chart here in a little bit, and I'll show you why. The other main event was Supreme Court ruled that the prorogation of Parliament as a matter of the court and ruled the suspension is unlawful, and it's now up to speakers to decide to recall the MP. So basically what happened was their UK Supreme Court has ruled that that suspension of Parliament was illegal, and now they have to go back into session. But really, the Parliament or the Houses had already ruled that, because you're like, okay, well now what? Well, they've already ruled prior to this break that it was illegal to have a no Brexit, or to exit with a no Brexit, basically exit without a deal. So what that means is there's only a couple of things that can happen now. One is PM Johnson is able to work up a new deal, and that gets passed. I think it has to pass by mid-October. The other one is that mid-October rolls around and he has no deal and he asks for an extension. So right now we're kind of, those are really the two main, um, the fork in the road, basically. And there's going to be some gyrations and some tongue lashings, I'm sure, from both sides between now and mid-October. But this Supreme Court ruling really is not something that I'm looking to trade on the pound. So if we jump over to the charts, let's just look at a few things here. Let's look at the pound. Here's the pound dollar. If you notice on that announcement, there was a spike up on that Supreme Court announcement, and then it gave it all back through here, and now it's taken off again. So if this announcement had legs, I would not have expected this bar to have closed the way it did. I would have expected the markets to have got excited, saw this as a very bullish pound event, for price to have closed up into here, and then for these two bars, perhaps some consolidation and then taking off again. So this is pretty choppy to me. It wouldn't surprise me to see this bar come back up into here and sell off again. So I'm not really looking to put a trade on because of that. If you look over at the Aussie dollar, speaking of Governor Lowe's comments, a similar situation. Comments came out. Aussie shoots up, gives it almost all back, and now it's just kind of chopping around here. So I would have expected if this was going to be a tradable move, that price would have closed up in here, and then I might have been interested in taking like a 50% entry, drawing fibs, from maybe probably from here up to here, and then looking to get in back in this area here. So, but it didn't do that. This is basically a giant bearish pin bar that formed on the 1 hour chart. So that tells me there's not a lot of excitement about that. Now price could move all the way back up to here, but I don't think it's sustainable for this session. And the other thing about the Aussie dollar is we've got the consumer confidence for the dollar coming out, U.S. dollar coming out in a couple hours, and I don't think it's going to be a big market mover, but when you're only, let's say you thought, well, I'm going to get in, let's just say you're going to get in right here and you ride it back up. That's only 15, 16 pips. I don't want to try to get just 15 or 16 pips when there's an event coming out for the U.S. dollar in a couple of hours that could, if it were to come out one way or the other, it can move the market a lot more than 15 or 20 pips. So just not interested in that. The one trade that I thought about a little bit was back on this Euro US dollar. Yesterday I had that. I'll put some fibs back. Get some fibs back in here. I had that at a 50% retracement to enter. I did. It just chopped around all day, and came around time to go to bed. I think it was right around in here. I just closed it for a few pips because I didn't want to carry it overnight. And it looked like it was going nowhere, and it basically didn't go anywhere. And I think the trade still makes sense from the fundamentals and the sentiment, but again, let's say you were to enter right back here, talking about 25, 30 pips, which is not inconsequential, but we also have the dollar or U.S. dollar news that I mentioned earlier coming out in a couple hours. And so you can see here it's really chopping around here. So I'm just not real interested in jumping back in and trying to ride this down here. I'm just going to leave that alone. So nothing for me today, guys. I hope that helps, and I'll get this recording up in the room and see you in a little while. Thanks.